business services in our organization. So, so as you can see that Oracle ADF framework is an end-to-end Java application framework based on Java application framework, which help us develop not only high-level infrastructure, but also it helps in enabling developers to learn low-level infrastructure. So once we create the code, we can reuse it, and it provides a visual and declarative way of development. I'll show you how we are. I'm saying visual and declarative way once I show you a demo. Okay, so how we can use this for an area. So in case if whether we are targeting user interfaces, desktop user interfaces, mobile user interface, or even MS Office interface, this Oracle ADF provides all the features. So Oracle ADF sits in middle of all these interfaces and helps us develop this application. Okay, so let's look at the architecture of Oracle ADF. So we can see here we are seeing what we are seeing is an architecture of Oracle ADF which fits into all other Fusion architectures for building application. Okay, so basically Oracle ADF architecture is based on MVC architecture, which is known as Model View Controller for building application. So this model allows us to better increase our usability and flexibility adopting to changes. So we use Model View Controller because it's very flexible. It can be adopted to any changes. So Oracle ADF offers us this a choice of technology. As you can see in the screen, there are various technologies which we use. I'll talk that we can use to build. So there are basically various layers in the application. So which help us, which deals with different technologies. So if we start, we have this view layer on the top, where we can build desktop application like either using Swings or Microsoft Excel as a front end, or we can build mobile user interfaces, or we can build browser-based user interfaces using either JSF, or we can use ADF faces components to like make richer UI, or we can use simple JSP as well. So these are all the like front-end based components technologies which we can use for building an application. So if we are building a web user interface, we also need a controller layer, which so for controller layer we have JSP, which we have support for struts, and for JSF and ADF basis application, we can either choose like core JSF controller or extension we can build on top of it's known as ADF controller. So in terms of in terms of business services, we can use simple Java classes and EJVs and ADF business components services. There's a people, there's a BAM, there's a SOA. We can all use these applications as our business services, which can be used to provide services to our application. So there is a binding. We have a binding layer which allows us to like leverage all those services, expose them to UI, and or have it consistent across all the framework. So this is the high-level architecture of Oracle ADF, where we see that how we can use different systems to fetch data and then use across the different application, either it could be desktop, mobile, or browser-based application. So let's start with some of the ADF rich components. What are the features of ADF basis rich components? So let's look at some of the core functionalities that most of us will be using. when we are building a web application using an Oracle ADF. In terms of user interfaces, like if you see, Oracle ADF offers rich set of client components, and that set is almost like 150 components that we can use to lay out our pages and develop them in a simple way. So these components are like basically Ajax enabled, like which means that they have less functionality built into them. We save a lot of coding, and which we would not want, like we would not like to do with like other applications like JavaScript and CSS. So we don't need to use all those features because we have all these components are inbuilt having Ajax capability. So these components have pluggable look and feel. You can just drag and drop. You can skin them. You can change look and feel. So these are just they are very easy to use. They support accessibility and internalization as well. And beyond user inter, you can use buttons, tables, and other rich sets of components like charts, calendar, cover flow, which we will see how Oracle ADF provides all these components. So this framework also includes the capability of drag and drop. So we can just drag a component into our page and then we can use it. And we can use pop-up. We can use pop-up window and dialog, like to create templates and declarative component declaration. So these all are features of all the features components. So here is a picture of like what all components we see. We can use button, we can use table, we can use date, calendar, we can use menu bar, we can use anything which will be layout. We can use so all these features are components are provided in ADF. We can use input text, we can use output text, and we can just drag them into a page and use them. So this is almost about theoretical. So what I will show here is I'll build a sample application in and aid using IDE JDeveloper, and I'll show you how we can just go ahead and build an application. So it will help you knowing not only UI wise, but it will help you how we can start with an Oracle application in practical. So the prerequisite of building an application in Oracle ADF is you need to have a database connection, you need to have a Oracle JDeveloper IDE, and you are good to go. You just need to have an IDE and a database connection, and then you can just start building your application. So this is basically this is an ADF JDeveloper where this is an IDE which will be using it for building a sample application. I'll show you a demo where how we create application and how we use the components and how we connect to a database and all those features. So if you see, you can build a new application, or you can from here, or you can just file and just say new and then go to application, and you can build a generic application. So just we'll build a new application. We'll say ADF start. So we just build a new application. We build a Fusion application. Mommy. And let's start. So we just build an application. So when you build an application, so you see how you basically get two projects. One is a model one and the one is a view controller one. So the model is where you interact with your business company, create your business component, you interact with different systems like database, legacy system, where we expose web services. And view controller is basically used for building UI interfaces, which will be where we use business services exposed by model as a data control, and we can use as in our page. So if anyone has two questions, they can IM me or they can just let me know. We'll have a QA round separately. So if you see this model project, we can create business components, we can create, and all those applications which we use. So we just create a business component. So we need a database connection for here. So you need to have a database connection, which basically you can connect. So I have a local database installed, so I can just connect the database. So once I connect to a database, I can query for all the, I can query the schema and I can get all the tables which are presented there. So I can use these tables to create business components. So first, right now we are creating an business components using the database. We are just creating the entities and view objects which will show, and then just we just create an application. So when we create a scheme, when we create an app, when we are creating business components, we see we have whatever tables we have used. So if you see, this is the table which we have used, so it's directly getting all the attributes which are present for a table. So we can do any validation on this table from the using business component. Suppose if we want to do a validation on UI about salary attribute, we just add some validation rule like should be like 0, like a salary should be greater than 0. If in case it's not greater than 0, then we will show an error message. So we have added a rule for salary that it should be greater than 0. So this all we are handling at our database side validation. We are doing all validation at the model, so that you don't need to do any validation at UI. So whenever user enter a salary which is less than 0 or minus, and then it shows a validation. It just do a compare operation. So similarly, we have employee view where you can see query, where this is a query where it fetch all the records from the related to employee. Here also you have job ID. You can create list of values or job ID, and just can have the job view associated with it and job ID. Okay. Job ID. So this type of combo list of value you can show. So this is a features which we can use of Oracle ADF, where we can just create some attribute, we can just have validation and all these features. So this is a model project. Basically, it contains an entity object, it contains view object, entity objects which is released with a database, a view object which is a query based, like this one which I use is a view object which we have query where we have a selected corporate database. This is directly associated with the database where we can have business rules, where we can have validations, where you can have constraints. So all this thing we can take care of the UI. We don't need to worry about writing stuff related to product. So now when we come to a view layer, we can create our page. We can just have a page and then a simple column. This is just a GSPX page which we create. So it's a simple GSP page. We can use different components. We can use these are basically all the components which we can use. So we can use planner strict, we can use layouts, We can use layout, apprentice planner splitter. We can use so we can have this. We can control the balance properties of all these things. You can see the structure. So this structure of the page. You can see the structure. We have added balance. See this first, second. So my question. So we can have planar splitters. Basically, we will use some. I'll show you how we can use some layout. And so what we will do is we'll have this planar splitter. Then we'll use some planar collection. We'll use planar collection. This is the menu collection. Then we use panel accordion. So these are all the these all layouts are basically to enable how you see a page in a UI. I just run a sample page and I will see panel accordion. Panel accordion is like you can open a panel accordion and all this thing. So we can create a page in a specific layout in which our requirement is. So now what we'll do is we'll see how we can use the business services. So suppose this is a data control which gives access to all our tables. So now we can use directly our business component in our. So this is a department view, and this contains all the department with employees in it. So we can just use a department. We can just create a form and we can just say read only form where we will come to know about all the departments we have. We can include navigation control, which allows us to navigate. Similarly, we can create employees and drag into our page, and then we can have it in a table. We can create a read-only table, so we can see all the tables. We can filter the table, and thus we can remove and add any component from a table if we want. So we can create a sample, just like a page which can show department, employees. We just need to drag it. We just need to drag and use as a layout like form, table, anything which we need to display in our page. I'll just show you how we run this page, how it looks exactly. So I've created a page exactly, and when we run it, how it comes up and shows you. So it's we drag the components and then we run that page, and it's automatically the deployment starts. And so JDeveloper comes with an integrated WebLogic server, so you don't need to take care of installation of WebLogic server and so we are running this application. In the meantime, I'll tell you like what happens. Basically, when you run an application, it deploys the application to start the WebLogic server, and it deploys the application, and it just then the particular page which we are running, it will load that page in your browser, and you will start seeing what all application which you have used. So this is ADF JDeveloper is a very simple tool to use. Once you get used to it, you just drag and drop components, and then you can build very powerful application. This is just a sample page, but we can build a very powerful total application which can be used across the system and all. So now it will, like when the page comes, it will show you what all components we use and how we have created how the page looks like when it runs, and how we can see the components. So this is like a page. So what we have done is, when we create a page structure, we see these are the layouts which we have used. One layout, this is one layout, this is the second layout, this is the third layout. So what we have done is, we have just dragged the department business component here as a form, and yes, we have dropped the employee as a table. This particular reason we have dropped as a table. Here we have dropped the employee as again as a read-only form. So what it does is, when we so just by dragging and dropping, just see what happens. Like, we can just see all the application, what all employees, what all for all particular department there are a list of, it shows the employees. If we click on the employee, particular employee, so you see, so we get all the information of that employee. So just by dragging and dropping the components from the data control, we like department, and the way we use it, like we use it as a form, we use it as a table, it helps us building an application. So it's become very easy to just fetching the data from the database and displaying the UI just by using a business components. So it's become very easy. Now this is something which we are using from the database. So now, if suppose we want to use something from our Java classes, so just what we do is, we create in our model project, we create a new, we can create Java classes. We have Java, we can create a Java class. We can just say a Java class, so it allows it. If you see, so it creates a set of Java class. So here you can write any of your methods, say hello. So you can just create and just return hello. So it takes a name, suppose string name, and say return string. So this is a method. Suppose if we have written is a Java class. So what we will do is, we can just create a data control for this Java class. So this is standalone Java program. Suppose we can create data controls from business, like database, EJBs, Java classes. So this is an example of how we are creating data control. So just you write a Java program and just expose it as a create a data control. So once you created a data control, so you get this Java application as a data control. Now just you need to drag it and drop in your page. This is your page, and use this. So if you see, if you see how this we have a method, say hello. If we drag it in a page, if we just say, if we drag it in a page, and then we can drag it as a method, we can do a parameter form, we can start accessing this page. So what I have done is, if you see, I have created this same hello class, and then I have used it in our application as a component, so as a data control. So if you see, if I say hello, that's right, say hello. So it should say hello XY. So it's just a simple, very simple Java class. You can just enhance, and you can just use any other features like all others you can use. So this is a very simple demo of ADF, our application, like ADF application. We can develop lot many things, which I show you in our classes, how we can build very complex application using very simply, and we can just learn. And so with this training, like, I think it will help you. It will help you learn an Oracle ADF as a guy. When we talk about the industry, when you learn, so you will be more experienced about an experience of working Oracle ADF, like 2-3 year experience guy when you work in an industry, because this is what basically we deal in day-to-day industry and how we build a complex application. So to, to summarize, like let's see, like in summary, what Oracle ADF provides us with complete integrated development framework covering all the layers of our application and multi-channel access to our business services. So we have seen how it covers all the layers of how it accesses the business services and everything. And it take care of all the infrastructure. We don't have to worry about how to skin our UI, how to make the UI good, how to see. It will take care of everything. Skinning, visualization. Just increase the productivity. You don't need to worry about CSS, writing CSS to make it. It provides an inbuilt capability of CSS. You can just do a lot of CSS activity just by using inbuilt framework components and then. So yeah, thanks for listening to the class. We'll now start our Q&A round so that if any other questions you have, we are trying to solve all the technical queries. How do you expect this class to start? What are your expectations? How any difficulty in development? So it's in Oracle technology, Oracle ADF. So once you are familiar with Oracle ADF, you are more of how to building any enterprise application using Oracle ADF. You can then start for other components like people, so BAM and all this. I'll keep the question open so that if you have any questions on this Oracle ADF structure, I can just help you out.